Don't mind how I look because I'm fresh off work, but I'm telling y'all, life gets so much better when you cut off that nigga.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Just a Girl Show. My name is Jenny, and if you are new here, if you're new to this channel, of course, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you never miss an episode. And if you are a subscriber, welcome back to the channel. So and this is going to be a good one because all I can say is women, the way we be lying, the way that we lie, stop lying. Stop lying. Because I'm like, so women, we really put our foot in our mouths all the time. Like, all the time. Social media has allowed women to say whatever, whenever, however, stuff that don't make no sense at all. It just be like, well, what are you talking about? What do you like? Make it make sense. And we can never make it make sense, especially when it comes to dating. Okay. So today we're going to be reviewing this podcast called Dear Wifey, Dear Future Wifey, excuse me. It's a podcast with a husband and wife duo, and they had a content creator on their podcast. Her name is Naya Gomez. This woman basically was in a relationship, a 4-year relationship, and she broke off her engagement. And I'm gonna let y'all see and hear why she broke off the engagement, and we're going to figure out. We can really figure out what was the issue. So let's get right on into it, okay?
Ashley, who do we have on the podcast today?
Today, we have someone who went viral on social media for letting us know that she ended things with her fiance. My new homie. Welcome to Dear Future Wifey, Naya Gonzalez.
I ended my engagement. I have been debating sharing this with the internet. I always said that I was never going to be the kind of influencer that only shares the good parts of my life. I've been able to build a platform because I'm authentic. It's really important for me to own my narrative instead of letting people assume and start rumors. Ending my engagement was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do in my entire life. It's really not the breakup itself that's hard, but it's also having to like break up with the idea of the future that you planned and grieving that too. And at this big age, 31 years old, it feels like your clock is ticking faster and faster. I think that if sharing my story helps just one person, then it's worth it. I was trying so hard to make it work. Eventually, trying to make it work felt exhausting. It literally took me accepting the hard truth that I tried to ignore. Now, the moment I accepted that and said it out loud, I felt so much relief and honestly freedom. Not because I didn't care. I was finally listening to myself. Now I have to start over, rebuild myself, move out. It's scary. There's a lot of uncertainty, but that's also kind of the beauty in all of this. I get to start over. I am doing my best and I'm figuring it out one day at a time.
Hello.
What's up, Naya?
Hey.
How do you feel?
I'm nervous.
What are you nervous about? Be honest, be vulnerable. What are you nervous about?
Not y'all making me cry already.
Listen, I understand we're in a sensitive space. I don't want anybody to think that the decision that you made was taken lightly. People can assume that. People can look at it and see you smile in the video and make it seem like you're some savage woman. But I really, truly believe that you're a woman of God and that when you made this decision consulting with the Holy Spirit. Is that?
How do you, in a matter of a minute in, how you come up with all that in less than a minute, sir? Like, how?
An assumption I'm making?
No, not at all.
Okay. And so a lot of women desire marriage. A lot of women wait for the day that someone gets on their knee and propose to them. You had that moment. Was that the first time that's ever happened to you?
Ending an engagement?
No, having an engagement.
Yes, it was. Yes,
First
it
time
was.
somebody ever proposed to you and you made the decision to end it. Why is this making you emotional?
We were together for 4 years. And I think when you enter relationships, you never enter it thinking that it's going to end.
I don't want y'all to think I'm being insensitive. I'm not being insensitive. I'm not. If you see me smirking, I'm just, we are so theatrical and we are so, it's so hard to see if people are doing, like, I can't tell if you're doing this for sympathy, for views, to gain more followers. Like, you're crying in a matter of minutes of the show starting. You also ended the relationship. So I'm just like, it just gives so performative. He ain't even ask you anything. They ain't like you, like, it's just like, girl, you did it, own it. You ended the relationship, own it. Now we supposed to feel bad for you because you left your man?
And what makes it a lot harder, I think, is being online and sharing so much. You know, I share everything, my whole entire life. I shared when I tore my Achilles. I share everything. And so for me, my platform has always been about being authentic. And that meant also sharing, ending my engagement. And that in and of itself was really, really hard. And I also, you know, just having to share it publicly too. But that was a choice that I made. Being in social media is a choice that I made. That's a career that I chose to be in. And so when you're dealing with something so personal, but also it's public, it just makes it 10 times harder.
But let's make this very clear, right? I think a lot of times these women who it is your job as a content creator, which love that for her, love that for us content creators out there. We, again, as she said, it is a choice. You did not have to sit down and record that video about leaving your fiance. You didn't have to. You could have did it when you felt you were ready to, whatever. You didn't have to. And I think the idea of explaining it in a way that like is really hard. It is hard, but you sat down at the table and you did it. You did it. So I'm confused. I'm a little confused as to why we don't know how to separate what we can and cannot share, as if we don't have a choice. Like I said, you could share your Achilles tearing or whatever, but you didn't have to share this piece of it of your life. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm gonna let Ashley lead in this. What would you like to ask about that?
I love that you're transparent. I think that's going to help a lot of people. Would love to just hear a little bit about, what happened. Everyone may not have seen the post. So we're starting from scratch and just bring us up to speed if we're not aware what happened.
Mm-hmm. It was never like one specific thing. I think when he and I met, I was so young. We were long distance. I was a news anchor in Waco, and he was living in Dallas. And
Give us age. You say so young. What is that? How old are you?
I was, I think, 26 or 27.
Okay.
So let's stop right. We're gonna start right there. I want Black women to stop using the so young line when you are not so young. I'm gonna give you after 23, and I'm pushing it. You're not so young. 27 years old is not so young, because when you leave with the so young thing, I'm trying to find a way to say I was moving as if I didn't have the awareness or the intelligence or information to make a best judgment because I'm so young. And that's all women will do when they make these poor choices. They use the I was so, and she said I was so young. She didn't say I was young. She extended it to the so young. When you're 27 years old, ma'am, you're not so young. You're not so young. You are younger than you are today, but you are not so young. But that is their build up for the stupid things that they do. I'm gonna build up and say, yeah, I was so young. I'm gonna blame it on being young. No, you were not. And even if you use the young card, let's say you are young, let's give you 23. You should have enough awareness of right and wrong, good and bad. But they use this. We have to stop. Stop with the so young, because you're not young. You're not. You were a grown adult making grown decisions, and you need to be accountable for your grown choices. I wanted them to say, like, call her out, like, girl, you was not young. But of course, they didn't.
And so, well, I'm 31 now, so what's 31 minus 4?
Yeah.
So I was in Waco and we were long distance. And I think the things that I wanted in a relationship from a man at that time were very different than what it is today and what it's been the last year. We were so young, and we were honestly, like, the thing that I was so attracted to about him was that he was just so fun, and we connected on so many different things. We used to go to the gym together. Honestly, we were going out a lot, just going out to the club and just living a fast life. And as I grew older, those things became less important to me. And I think the things that he and I connected on were no longer there. So we weren't going out. We weren't working out together. We were barely hanging out together and doing things that, build emotional intimacy. So I think that was the biggest change, was he was no longer my best friend.
So here's the thing, right? When you guys were so young, right? You were 27, so young. What you were doing at 27 versus what you do at 30 is a lot of time can pass, right? The thing that I don't like about this is you don't give context of what was happening at that time in his life, your life, right? So when we were 27, we were going to the club, we were going out, we were doing this, we were being young, free, wild, less responsibilities, less stress, less things happening in our lives, right? But come 30, my job may have changed, my stress levels are higher, our finances are different. Like, there's things that we now have to do that I can't do. So that's going to cause a little bit of strain of the adjustment. But because we as women don't like to look at the bigger picture, we just want what we want. And I want to go to the club and I want to go out and I want to spend money, and I can't spend the same money that we used to spend before because we have more responsibilities. You don't want to hear that. You want to still keep it the same way that you want to keep it. So because y'all couldn't do the things that y'all used to do, go out to the club or whatever, go to the gym together, you lost your best friend. And so this is what I'm saying. Like, we're talking about relationship ending for nothing, like something that could have been worked through. We can always start to rebuild our schedules, intertwine our lives, figure out what has happened at this time that has drawn us apart from each other. Life could be just life in at this season. But she went through all of that to get to that answer, which is like, you lost your best friend because y'all can't go to the gym. So that's why you broke up with. Girl.
He became my roommate.
And so y'all were actually, when you say roommate, y'all were actually living together at this time.
Yeah.
How long were y'all dating before y'all decided to move in with each other?
I believe 2 years. Yeah. Mhm.
And that was here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Yes.
So when did you relocate from Waco to Dallas?
In 2022.
In 2022. And so at what stage, y'all were engaged for 8 months before you called it off. Were there any, let's go back to the moment that, we're going to go ahead and put this in reverse. How did y'all meet?
Social media.
So I met on social media. Did you slide in his DM? Did he slide in yours? What was
I followed him on Instagram, and then I was kind of like waiting on him to slide in my DMs, and then he wouldn't. So I was like, I followed him for like 2 weeks, waiting for him to say something. And just when I was about to unfollow him, he messaged me.
Now, we know that these women love social media and they love to lust over a man's lifestyle. Okay. They love to lust over a man's lifestyle. It's something about the life that he lives that gets them all excited, because they believe that that's what the life that they're going to live. So the fact that she followed him, something about his lifestyle, his attractiveness, something that drew her into him, because you didn't know him. You just saw what you saw. Right. So you're already going off of just like looks and lifestyle. Again, what kind of car, if he's doing this, if he's doing just, again, the facade that anyone can post on their page. We don't know who people really are, what they're really doing in their real life, but something about his social media, what he presented on social media, and was infatuation for her. So that right there says a lot about, whatever you were looking for or thought you were looking for, you thought he had. And maybe he had it for a little while, and maybe life started life, and then he didn't. And now he ain't my best friend no more. He my roommate, because we can't do what we was doing before. It can be something as crazy and as small as that.
And he responded to a story of my Apple Watch, and it was me ending a workout. And I thought I was so slick. I was like, oh, something about let's do like a workout competition or something, but I need your number to
shots fired.
And so he gave me his number. And then I remember his area code was 816. So he was from Kansas City. And then that was kind of our connection there. And then honestly, it kind of just happened so fast. Yeah, I mean, he was exactly what I needed at that time.
And what was that? Should have been the next question. And what was that you needed at that time? What was that you needed? What did he give you that you needed?
And when did y'all take it from just a DM exchange to now we go together?
Yeah.
Real bad.
I had driven to Dallas a couple times. I went with my roommate at the time, Madison. We drove to Dallas. We went out. He used to have a hookah business. So he was doing something at like a rooftop. And so we met him there. And that was our very first meeting. And I really liked him. He was really kind. He was sweet, very attractive. So, and we just stayed in touch. And he was driving back and forth from Dallas to Waco to see me. And I was, doing the same on the weekends.
Did y'all know each other's families? Did you get to, at what point did you meet his family? And
I want to say I know it was in November, because I had gone home with him for Thanksgiving, and we went on a big family cruise. And that was the first time I'd really met like everyone. I met his dad first on accident. And then
on accident.
Yeah, on accident. He surprised him. He flew to Dallas, and he just so happened to just kind of surprise him. And he was like, I'm here. And he was like, oh, shoot. So is she. So I guess we're doing this. And yeah.
And so I like to, so in the book, Student of Love, I teach people how to define your core values and then date according to your core values. What you said at the very beginning is something that's making my ears perk up, because you said what I liked or desired back then changed just 4 years later. So my question to you is, what were you looking for back then? Because you might, if I ask you something like, what was your core values then, it may go over your head. You're like, I'm 27 years old. I'm not even thinking about a core value. He looked good. Yeah. So you may just, and we like to go hang out. He was fine. Yeah. You know, it's that, which has nothing to do with core values, which is even interesting. What was it that attracted you?
But the crazy part about it is, like you said, 27 years old, you should not be no, oh, he's so fine. Like, you're like no 16-year-old little girl. Like, girl, you 27. Come on.
To him, you said y'all went out, he looked nice. Did you think further than that to say, this is what I desire in a husband, or were you just here for, you wasn't even thinking like that? Yeah. It was more casual that progressively turned something more permanent.
I think so. I had been single for, I think, 1.5 years before I met him. So I didn't think that it would turn into what it turned into, honestly. I wasn't very intentional, I would say, but at the same time, I did know, you know, I wanted someone who was a man of God, who, you know, went to church. His family, he comes from a great family. He grew up going to church, and I knew I knew the things, but I don't think that I put emphasis on those things and really was like intentional in that. And so in the 4 years we've been together, I can count on one hand how many times he and I went to church together. So,
because you are full of it. Okay. Like most women, they say they want this, they want that, and they don't live by anything. Nothing. Because I also think even the idea of like, I want a man of God, I'm going to go to church, like, okay, and then what? Somebody going to church does not mean that they are a good person. They just go to church because that's what they've always done. You know, what about his characteristics of as a man? You know, but I think her saying that, you know, he never went to church, and they went count on how many hands, you know, how many times they went to church. That's the thing about us as women. If you know you want a man of God, so you say somebody who goes to church, I mean, I don't gotta see. I mean, I can tell in the first, let's just give it 6 months. If you ain't been to church in 6 months, if you have not been to church in 6 months, I'm gonna start questioning, I thought you went to church. What happened? But if I'm infatuated with your Instagram, what you look like, what kind of car you drive, that don't really matter. That don't really matter.
So I said I wanted that, but I also wasn't intentional in, you know, making that effort, I think. And so now, as a 31-year-old woman, and I'm really, you know, looking for alignment in my relationships, even with friends, not just romantic relationships either. I am very, like, I know exactly what it is I want.
Let's hear this.
And what is that?
What is that?
I want emotional intimacy, emotional safety, connection. Definitely 100%. I have to have spiritual transparency, and definitely just be equally yoked. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like 100.
Girl, what is, like, why is it all these extra words to just being a provider, a protector, smart, loving, kind, trustworthy, loyal, disciplined, faithful? Like, what's all the extra words to spiritual transparency, emotional safety? It's just like, girl, what? Like, you want to sound so smart and you're dumb. These women be wanting to sound so smart, and they are not. They're not. You don't know what you're looking for. That's just, you don't know. You're making it up as you go. You have no idea. No idea. Like, what are you, like, what?
Percent equal, you know, because when I'm not showing up the way that I want to sometimes, like, I expect my partner to hold me accountable and pick me up and vice versa. But I do, think that is really important for me.
There's a bit of cognitive dissonance when you say, this is what I wanted. I wanted a man of God. I wanted this, and you admitted that what you desired, you recognized that it wasn't in alignment with your heart's desire, which is where cognitive dissonance comes into play. To elaborate more on that is this. Whose idea was it to move in together?
Honestly, it was me. I was pushing to move in together. I was more so pushing for the engagement. I knew he wanted to get engaged. I know he wanted to be married, but it was definitely me who was more like,
thirsty.
We have to be engaged before we get married. Not get married. We have to be engaged if we're going to move in together. Like, I at least want that. If we're, his parents were so adamant on us being married before making that step.
Right.
Duh.
And I'm sure now he's probably, kicking himself in the butt. Like, I should have listened, but I mean, we all,
I think it's good.
But I listened to a woman. I let my woman talk me into doing this. Although my parents, who are married, know better, I let my woman talk me into it, and then the heifer left me. What?
That we get an opportunity to learn from our decisions, learn from our mistakes. Like I said, you're only 31 years old. As the old folks say, just keep living. That's what they always say, just keep living. But the reality, and I'm glad that you're giving voice to this, because he had influence around him, parents that said, hey, you might want to be married before you start playing house, as we used to say. And then you say, well, no, we're going to move together. You admit that you pushed let's live together. And he's like, see. And the thing about it is this, and I want every man to understand this part. And this is what leadership is. Leadership is saying, hey, I know you were pushing for us to move together, but no. Yep. You said you want a man of God. This is how a man of God does. Yep. I'm not shacking up with you. Yep. I created that as a moniker for my podcast to literally say, it's a fun way of saying, I know you're watching the podcast. A lot of people watch the podcast, but they don't make a commitment to just hit the free little thing to subscribe. And that's what we do in these relationships. We don't subscribe. We won't get married. We won't go to that next step, but we want all the benefits of it. We want to watch, entertain, do all the other stuff with the people we're dating, but then we don't want to make that full-time commitment. So it's interesting that that's how my podcast has started out. And then this is what your lived experience is. You said, hey, listen, his parents said, don't do this. I know he's probably kicking himself in the butt for making that happen. What made you desire that though? What made you desire? You said, hey, I know you want to marry me, but let's live together first.
Yeah.
Control.
I just loved him.
You just want to be
I just
around
wanted to be, I wanted to be in his skin. Like, so yeah, we moved in together, and it just seemed like we were on track we were talking about marriage. And at the time, we were so locked in, like we're going to get married. So, we might skip a step, but it's going to happen. Yeah. So we really felt that way. And we were so, like I said, we were, having those conversations about marriage, and it just felt like
it felt right.
It felt right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like we were rushing it. And actually I tore my Achilles right before. So it kind of came around the right time because my lease ended. I couldn't go up and down stairs and elevators and stuff. So us moving in together, it honestly was helpful in that way too. Mm-hmm.
So what we're hearing is it was going to help her to move in with him. It was beneficial to her, period. That's what we are hearing at this point. That's what I tore my Achilles, my lease is up, blah, 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 blah. It was going to benefit me. And that's what we did. And I made him do what I said, and he did it.
There was like life that happened.
What did your parents say about the whole like moving in together?
Yeah. They really didn't have any kind of pushback on it. Mm-hmm. They trust me to make good decisions. Mm-hmm. And I think they felt like if I was making that decision, I was making that decision from a good place, or, you know, whatever the case might be. So they didn't really have the same pushback the way his parents did. But also my parents are much younger.
Okay.
And so, you know, they come from a different time, different place and era where, you know, that's not a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
You said your parents, or you said his parents are like that?
My parents are much younger.
So they're cool with it.
So they're a little bit more, my parents,
Yeah,
they're together, but they live separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're married.
They're married.
And so
y'all hear that? Her parents are married. They're younger. They have a whole different dynamic. So when you tell me that your parents trust you to make good decisions, but they're a married couple who live by themselves, that right there lets me know I can't trust what you got to say. I can't trust their judgment about you because they live separate. So what environment did you grew up in? And like, what is this? Was that the environment growing up? Was that just how it is because they're like, what is this? So because his parents have order and requirements and want to follow, you know, the best way they feel that God wants us to operate as man and woman as a covenant under before moving into those dynamics is putting marriage first. Your parents who live separately but they're married trust you, the girl who was so young, to make decisions for herself. Girl, please.
And so when y'all moved together, felt like it's the best decision, would you do it again? Next person that God brings into your life, would you cohabitate before y'all even get married? What are your views about that?
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure that if we weren't living together, that the issues that came about would have come about.
Right.
To know that that wasn't what was needed in marriage, I guess. So I'm not 100% sure.
Are you comfortable sharing the issues?
No, because you're about to lie. So let's pause there. We as women, we do the same things over and over and over and over again. You would think I lived with a man. It didn't work. We became roommates. I didn't like that. You know, it end up not working out. I'm going to, next time I decide to live with a man, I'm going to ensure that we are right and maybe we are married first before we live together. Maybe that's what we might do. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another try. We will give it a try and again and again and again. Keep giving it a try. We never learn to say, let me not keep doing the same thing over and over again because I did this before and it did not work. But we'll do it again and again and again. And then she's about to lie and make up whatever she's going to make up about what the issues were.
Even one thing.
Look,
yeah.
One thing.
I would say, I think
making it up.
And listen, before you answer, I'm going to tell you why that's important.
Why are you answering for her?
My brothers, men believe that women, you just can't please them. You can give the woman everything. Like you even showed me a reel that somebody shared where you give this woman this, you go against your own core values, let them move in with you. And then you put a ring on their finger and then she ups and leaves you for no reason. Like men are being so triggered by your experience because they already believe it before you even did it. All you did was validate their fear. You validate their fear in saying that, see, you can give a woman, and I've seen it. I've seen this person who was married. Now I can applaud you for not even getting married and making the decision that you felt like was best for your life. It was a lady that went viral that was married and said, I've been married with my husband X amount of years. He is so perfect. He is so great. He takes care of me. He does this and that. I mean, she said nothing bad in that video and said, I just didn't want to be married anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, what in the world? Do you know how devastating that would be to give the woman everything that she desired? And she admits, no, my husband takes care of me. Mm-hmm. He loves me well. He's a great father. He's great everything. I just didn't want to be married anymore. You know how traumatizing that is to a man, because a lot of men don't even see that as an example. It's most.
That is true. A lot of women do that. They leave their partners, leave their husbands, because they want to be out in the streets, be a city girl at 60.
Of us, and then to become the example that you want to see, and it still don't work out, they become the red pill community. Mm-hmm. Those people like, don't trust women, I hate women, they this, and it just gets very toxic. And so the Dear Future Wifey podcast tries to create a safe space for people to share the idiosyncrasies, the intricacies of relationships. You say, well, this is what I felt. It's not some flighty moment that I had. This is what I really experienced, and by no means uncover that, brother. But I'm just saying something that you felt, whether it was God that showed you or didn't, that said, this is what I felt that I couldn't live long term with.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say, when we first moved in together, I was working my full-time job as a news anchor. And then a year ago in September, we made the decision that it was best for me to leave the job. My contract had ended. They offered me to renew it. And we decided together that, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. So I started my own business, and he said that he would take care of everything financially. So that became the norm for our household.
So as I said in the beginning, right, when she said that they stopped going out, they had stopped doing this, they wasn't living out wild, young and free. Here it goes. It makes sense now. He's paying all the bills. He said, hey, stay home, babe. I'm going to take care of the bills. Probably said, but our lifestyle is going to change because I'm going to be paying all the bills. I want you to be able to be home, to run your business. Of course, we can't go out as much as we used to go out because we don't have two incomes. I mean, you ever think that that's a possibility of why things change?
But I think...
And she still ain't answered the question, y'all.
In that, what got lost was the dating. So I think because he was paying all of the bills, it was like, okay, now I don't have to put an effort over here. And I don't think that in his mind he was thinking that way. I don't think that it was intentional or anything like that, but there was just no emotional intimacy. And so that's when I suggested that we go to couples therapy to try and, get that back. And actually it was before I quit my job. It was already kind of brewing before then. And then I quit my job. And then it was even kind of more so because now I had a lot more free time. And so he works from home. I'm at home. And so I'm like, hang out with me. Let's go do something. Let's go to the gym, or, like I wanted to
but he's at work.
Spend time with him. And it just, I think it was just, we just stopped spending time. We stopped dating. We stopped doing the things that I guess like brought us together. And as time went on, I think in my mind, I thought, okay, he's working really hard. I'm going to let him grind it out, and I'm going to do the same. And so I started getting clients and getting really busy. And then I met women who are, engaged or in long-term relationships too. So, going out to the club, and that wasn't even a thing for me. Like we were going to girl dinners and, so that wasn't a thing. And it's crazy because the very thing that I thought would help, like just by me taking time and like giving him the time, is what ultimately like drove us apart.
because I grew in so many ways, and he was still kind of just like stuck in his rhythm and flow. And it like became really apparent on my birthday. Like he had no idea what to do or like get me, because he's just like, I don't know. So he just didn't do anything.
You guys weren't connecting. You weren't finding time to connect. Did you talk about that with him?
Yeah, we talked about it. I mean, we talked about it a lot. It was like a broken record, I felt
What would
like.
he say? What was his response?
You know, he's working a lot, and it wasn't that, you know, he didn't want to. And I really like understood where he was coming from. But at the same time, it's like, you work from home though, like just an hour, you know, like just take a second. I don't know.
All right, y'all. I'm going to stop right there because, baby, when I say I knew this was for selfish reasons. This woman ended her engagement because they couldn't go on dates, or they weren't going on dates as much, or he was working too much to pay all the bills and take care of her. What a terrible man. He was working too much to take care of her because he was at home working. So he could have just took off work and spent an hour with her and went to the gym and ran in the street and popped bubble gum. He was doing what a grown-up does. But when you are so young, you're just so young, you don't even know what's really happening. You have no idea that bills got to get paid because you're just so young. And she said that she just grew so much by doing whatever she was doing, and he was stuck. He was working. Like, these women, like the bottom line, y'all, is she left the man because she was selfish. He did nothing to her. He had a job to take care of her, period. Now, we can keep talking about this, y'all. Y'all want me to do a review of the rest of the podcast? Let me know in the comments. But this is what I'm talking about. These women will just say anything. 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 They just leave because they're bored and they want to be city girls. You want to go to the club that bad. That bad. Now let's see how it goes to find another man who want to take care of you, pay all your bills, and let you stay at home and go on girls' dinners. See how that goes. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of this topic, of this video, of just everything. Let me know in the comments. Ladies, again, stop with the so young stuff. You're not. Be accountable for your actions. Stop trying to find a way to not be accountable and blame being young. You were aware. You knew what you were doing, and you did it anyway. Okay? Okay. Alrighty. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Of course, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know if y'all like these longer form videos. I would love to keep doing them for you guys. If you love this style for my channel, let me know. And I'll be sure to deliver as much as I can. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.